Hi, my name is Teresa McQuaid, and I am an online cyber math teacher, and I use Blackboard Collaborate to teach my students on a daily basis. And I would like to demonstrate some of the online tools to be used either in the cyber world or in the brick and mortar schools. So I'm going to go ahead and start out with just demonstrating some of the tools. This is definitely an introduction. We'll go ahead and get started. The cam will be gone. It's more of a distraction sometimes once we get into the instructional part here. So let's go ahead and get started. Introduction to online instruction with Blackboard Collaborate. Now this is the whiteboard panel, and if you've looked at the first part of this professional development was to look over the quick start guide, and this is the screen that you saw that kind of had everything here, all the tools here in the classroom demonstrated. I'm going to work through these tools today. Right now we are in the whiteboard. So if you can see, I have the whiteboard up here. That's what this is on. You can see the screen. Everything that you see here on the screen is from the perspective of the instructor, so that you're looking at what I see when I teach my course. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, when you start a lesson, the first thing you do is you come in before your students arrive and you upload your materials. Now I know PowerPoint is a dirty word for some people because the people overuse them, but in the online classroom they're critical because that is how you get your materials up on the board that you want to show. Now you also can show web pages. We'll show that later. You want to have your web pages ready to go too. And images, you can always put images up here on the board also using the camera tool. So over here at the left, see how I have my tools where I can write on the board, I can type on my board, put lines. There's a camera. If I click on that camera, it'll go to whatever is behind my classroom. Now in this case I have my Screencast-O-Matic website up because that's what I'm using to record this. And if I click OK, it'll put an image of that up on my screen. Now I'm going to just go ahead and click on that and hit backspace and get rid of it because I don't need it. Okay, but that's how I can use my camera tool at any point to put the images. And then the whiteboard files, they're files of whiteboard type instead of PowerPoint, and they're usually saved from the online classroom. So let's say I'm in a session and my kids are brainstorming and I want to save their slide for the next day. I save it as a whiteboard and I can upload those as well. So maybe I want to keep some things I worked on the day before and bring them back into the classroom the next day. I'm going to save those as whiteboard files. Okay, we're going to start over here to the left, and if you see right here we do have the audio video panel. We'll get to that. And right below that we have the participant panel. So I'm going to kind of pull this out here so you can see mine. And up here at the top you see my name. Okay, and you see below that you will see all the students in your classroom. Now I'm in my classroom alone. I'll put my participant panel. So I have a snapshot of a participant panel here from your user guide. And see, here's my students. And that's the list of students that are in my class. You can see in this example 3 students have their hands raised. So maybe I've asked a question, I said raise your hand if, and they can raise their hands. Now look over here underneath my name, see that right there, there's a hand. If I click on that, that's how they raise their hand. Now you can also give them permissions. Okay, like I said, you can pull this out here. I can tell everyone that I'm away by clicking the away button. I can raise my hand. I can let everyone know that I'm happy. Okay, I can choose an emoticon, and I can also drop this panel down and answer a question through polling all through that participant panel. So in the participant panel is where you can give the students different permissions, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Next, let's talk a little bit about the difference between being a moderator, you as the teacher, and the participant. If I look through the moderator is allowed to remove a participant. If I click on their name and right click, I can kick them out of the room, so to speak. I can give them privileges. Maybe I want to let them have the microphone. I can click and give the whole room the microphone by clicking over here, or I can go into my participant list and just give one student that right. I can give them right to write on the whiteboard. I can create breakout rooms. I can distribute the participants to the breakout room. Okay, that's all moderator. My students cannot do that unless I make them a moderator. When you get to participants, they're allowed to use those emoticons. They can hit the step away to let me know that they've left. They can raise their hand. They can do polling. They cannot clear the results though. Only I can clear everyone's results. They can view each other's profiles, so they kind of see a little bit about each of the students. And in part 2 of Illuminate, we show how you can set up your own profile. They can send a private chat to you, the moderator. They can send chat to each other if you give them permission. Okay, so managing your permissions is really important to keep the flow of the class and the distractions down. Okay, so now we've looked at the participant list. They're in the classroom. You have those settings set up. You have your materials loaded. You have your links available, your sites that open, websites open that you want to share. You've got your polling set up. Now notice right now when I drop down the polling, okay, I drop this button down here underneath my name. Right now I have the choice A through E. If I go up here to Tools Polling, I can set my polling to different types. So maybe I have a yes, no question. Notice how now that drop down that the students see is going to be a green check for yes, a red X for no. So you can change your polling settings. Make sure you have your privileges ready to go. Maybe you want to let them come in and chat about something. Maybe you have a discussion board up there that you want them to write on. You're going to give them whiteboard privileges. And then if you're going to use breakout rooms, you want to have breakout rooms ready. So you go to Tools, click on the breakout rooms, and you can create breakout rooms just like that. Now notice that if I have a room full of people, I can go here and I can distribute the participants evenly through my breakout rooms and create those breakout rooms. Then if I want to send them the assignment, say I want to send this screen to the room, go back to Tools, click on the whiteboard, and I can copy my page to the breakout room. So that's kind of like how you're handing out papers in the normal classroom. That's how we hand them out to the groups here. It's like that virtual handing out of papers. Okay, staying in touch with your students, we talked about this right now. If I click on the talk button, I know they can hear me. If I click on the video, they can see me. We have our chat. They can see everything I put in, but they can't see what they're saying to each other unless I allow it. They have the whiteboard tools. Maybe they want to grab the pen and write on the whiteboard. Okay, maybe there's something there on the whiteboard that they want to write and show each other. There's a little bit of. Okay, so they can write on the whiteboard just like that. If I want to take something off the whiteboard, you can just select it and hit backspace and it will take it back off. Now, let's say someone writes on the board and I want to see who did it. I can click my select tool here, and if I right click, I can see which student created by, that's Agora Min is me, but you can see who created things on your slide. So you know who's writing what. Okay, so there's lots of whiteboard tools. They can type. They click the letter A. They can type up there on your screen. They can write with a pen. They can click on the camera and take an image, just like I showed earlier. They can use a line tool. Lots of things they can use to put communicate onto the board. What kind of like just having a chalkboard. Everybody can go off in break room and have their own whiteboard tool, and as a group they can create things. You can come back and look at them. The polling is really important that when you want to see, make sure every kid understands. You get 100% feedback from every student. And the emoticons, I really encourage the kids to show those so that if they're confused, they'll give me a thumb down. They go over here and I really encourage them. All right, if you're confused, make sure you give me your confusion face. If I click on that, now you can see next to my name, the little confused face is blinking, and I start blinking there. Okay, so that's how we stay in touch with the students here. I can also stay in touch with the audio video. I will tell you that this can often be more distracting than it is helping because the students tend to try to see what you're, try to catch you doing something goofy more than looking at your screen. So you can set this up so that you have, this is better for small group. You can have up to 6 people show up here, see the little mini screens, and then you can set it to follow whoever's talking. So that's how we can kind of see little pictures of everybody, but the big picture just holds the person currently talking. So you can have up to 6. So in the big classroom, I find that's been more distracting than anything. The chat is awesome. We do lots of things with chat. Maybe I'll have them do a problem, and then I'll all of a sudden turn the chat on and say, waterfall, everybody put their answer in right now, and the whole class will like It's like shouting their answer out in chat. So we use the chat a lot to communicate. That's really important in the breakout rooms because they're all kind of chatting together and putting things on their whiteboard, whatever the assignment is. So really try to get them to work together. Interesting as we talk about literacy, that this really helps them with the written literacy because they have to do so much communication through writing when they're in this format. Okay, we talked about the whiteboard tools. You can see them over here. The pointer's nice. You can always click on the pointer, and if there's something I'm showing on the screen, you can use your pointers. Of course, we use the typing tool. I use the squares a lot, and the shapes and the lines and geometry, and of course that camera tool is critical, and the camera tool will be used in your assignment today. Okay, anytime you want to make sure that you have 100% feedback from your students, I really do like the polling. I'll have one of my slides with a question ready, and maybe it's a real quick answer. Maybe it's a real quick a word that I just mentioned. I put it up there. All right, now you tell me, what did I say this means? And make sure everybody can tell me real quick back. Here's what you just said that was. And that helps me know who's listening because I can't see everybody's eyes. I don't really know, where they are. And a lot of times if they don't respond, I'll have a classroom that I'll send them to and say, you have not been, participating. Raise your hand when you get back. So I know exactly how long they're gone. Make sure you reflect on your interaction. At the end of the lesson, you can go to up here when I go to the window and it shows the activity. This activity screen comes up and I usually copy mine and paste it into an Excel sheet. I sort it by student name and I can see exactly what students are participating a lot, and maybe some people will just be on the list 1 or 2 times. So I know, oh boy, that student's not really participating that much. Maybe I should give them a call. Okay, so the activity is really important. The last thing I want to show before we get out of here is the application sharing and web tours. I've been showing you how you use your PowerPoint slides to be interactive. And the nice thing, these aren't really like PowerPoint slides because I can have a kid write on them at any given time on the screen. And you'll see that in my sample lesson. The second button over, the top one is whiteboard, is called application sharing. So if I click on that, I can share any website. Maybe I want to do a web quest with them, or maybe I want to show them some things I've seen on the internet interactive, and I want them to watch me play with it, and then I'll send them to go do it. So when I want them to watch me, I do the application sharing. The web tour is when I want to send them the link and they're going to play with it on their own, and then that opens the website on their desktop at their home. So those are really nice tools on top of these whiteboards that we have to write on. We can also use those. Okay, that wraps up the introduction to the tools. The next step for you is going to be to check out my little sample lesson. It's actually my own kids got in a classroom, just so you can see the interaction. It's about 10 minutes. You'll see me using these tools in action, and then you'll have an assignment on your own. I have a classroom that you're going to get into on your own. There's an assignment that you'll do. There'll be a recording for you to watch to step you through how to do that too. So the next 2 steps, watch my sample lesson and then open up a Blackboard classroom on your own, play around a little bit, and submit your assignment. All right, so that wraps up the introduction, and you'll be hearing from me again when I demonstrate your assignment.